Hey, everybody, and welcome to another installment, yet another edition of Work Your Career Wednesday. As always, I'm Bradley Clark, and so thrilled, honored, and blessed that you chose to join us today. And I got to tell you, it's just going to be me, and we're getting this out a little bit late. So I hope you forgive us for that. But got a great show today. Hope you get a lot out of it. We're going to talk about some upcoming events and some great things on the horizon, as well as a topic that I'm not sure people invest enough time in. And I've been hearing a lot about what we're going to talk about from a few different people. But this happened to a good friend of mine, one of the best recruiters I've ever seen in this business, Eric O'Rourke. And they're going to talk about something that happened with him. But it's very important. Recruiting is a tough job, but you gotta make sure you got everything in line, including your attitude when you're going to call into a company. But get ready for that. But first, let's take care of some business. Here we go. If you have anything, everything, and any and everything pertaining to video that you want documented, be sure to get a hold of Steven Saldana at White Husky Films. We have some new things on the horizon. I want to make sure that I don't forget to mention them. We're talking advertising your business on digital billboards in Times Square. We're getting into that. And testimonials, as well as audiobooks. The testimonials are pretty cool. Kevin Davis was so gracious to give us one, and he's got such a great setup on his show that it looked wonderful. It sounded great. Well, if you want testimonials, if you want any of your customers, your businesses, anybody that you work with, we will go out and film their testimonial for you, so it looks wonderful, and you have something great to present to your clients of other people talking to how great you are. So get ready for that. But if you got a podcast, you got anything pertaining to a conference, music video, anything, get a hold of Steven Saldana, White Husky Films. The number's on the screen for anyone listening. You can go to www.whitehuskyfilms.com. Dream, create, record in that order. And when you choose White Husky, you will be so glad you did. And Jane's Physical Therapy, premier home care physical therapy, just specialists, experts. I will tell you, they are incredible. And we are looking for full-time. We'll take part-time too, but ideally full-time physical therapists in the greater New Orleans area. Go to the Jane's PT website. That's JAYNES.com. JAYNESPT.com. Go there and apply. You can always locate us on LinkedIn. Send me a message. I'd love to talk with you and get you set up with probably the best physical therapy, one of the best physical therapist companies in the nation. And they're just doing such fabulous work. It's funny when I talk about, the kind of person Casey James is. Always direct them to the podcast that he did with us, and I tell you, he's really he's an amazing guy, and it's an amazing place to work. So go to janespt.com and apply, or go to LinkedIn, Jane's Physical Therapy, and get in contact with us. We'll love to hear from you. And get this. Oh, one of the oh my gosh, Klein's jewelry. Oh my goodness. Mark Klein and his family, they have been in the business of jewelry since 1969. They're just legends in the Houston area, and they have two locations, one on Woodway and one, I think it's 9311 Katy Freeway in Houston. Let me tell you something. They are incredible jewelers. Diamonds, loose diamonds, set diamonds. You want a Rolex, you want anything like that, you want to go to Klein's. They have incredible quality. Their jewelry is second to none. Designs are second to none. The staff, second to none. Everyone that works with Klein's jewelry, they're just incredible. And I got to tell you, they hold a very special place in my heart. And so what were we going to say? Uh, Go over there if you know if you got an anniversary, a birthday, gosh, if you bought a house, if you're gonna buy a house, or if you're in the doghouse, go see Mark Klein over at Klein's Jewelry. They will set you up so well. And be sure to get in contact with them. You can always go to kleinsjewelry.com. That is on the screen. Or get a hold of them at 281-381-9848 or 832-316-1388. They're located at 9311 Katy Freeway. You can take the Echo Lane exit in Suite C, or you can always go to 5771 Woodway, right there in Houston, Texas, 77057, for those of you keeping count. But they're incredible. We love them, and we're so thrilled and honored that we get to talk about them a little bit here on Work Your Career Wednesday. Now, um, gosh, the business of attitude, man. Business of attitude. Okay, let me paint the picture. Okay. Now we all know recruiting is it's a stressful job, man. It's a stressful job. You know, you're taking care of people. You know, you're putting them into work, and sometimes that means that you got to go out and find the client. You know, not all the time. It's not every day that you can go out and you have the client ready for the candidate. So sometimes you got to go out and get those clients, and it's crucial that when you're doing that, you know, there's a certain etiquette. You know, I've always been the kind of account manager. What do you? I always think of recruiting as I say recruiting, but I mean, I mean, I gotta put this on straight, man. I mean the sales part of it, the account management aspect of it, as well as the candidate representation. So when I say recruiting, I mean the whole thing. And I've really been blessed to be able to um, retain, a lot of my clients become friends. A lot of my candidates become clients, and that's kind of what you want. You know, at the end of the day, you want that. Um, you want to put somebody in a job that's going to last, right? You want that longevity, and it's just so crucial, particularly if you're going into a client, let's say for the first time, and you put that excellent candidate in there, chances are that candidate who will they'll become your client, and that's so important. But you know, one of the things that's really important too is understanding that when you're talking to clients, you know that you represent the best. You're not just putting a warm body in a cold seat. Um, there's something about an email. There's something about a phone call. There's something about that you know how when you're on the phone, and you can see you, or rather you can hear the smile on the other end. You know what I mean? That's so important. In fact, when I'm training folks to for account management, or going out there and calling, sometimes cold calling for clients, you got to have a smile on your face. You really do. It's the difference between um really, in my opinion, a good call and a bad call, right? And I gotta tell you, let me just paint this story here. I need some water for this. There was a company that called in to my friend's company. I was an account manager trying to be an account manager, right? So this is a third party. So they typically, represent people into agencies, and the agency will then represent them to their client. And it was really interesting What transpired, I was actually shocked when I heard what happened. So an account manager calls in and gets I would say maybe the receptionist. When there's calls, they screen their calls because you never know who you're going to get. And if you're not, or not who you're going to get, you never know who's calling, right? Sometimes it's good, sometimes it's bad. So it's part of her job to weed out the ones that are going to be wastes of time. And so the guy calls in, and receptionist proceeds to ask questions. Who do you want to talk to? Are they expecting your call? Yada yada. When it became apparent that he wasn't, I would say, and I don't know the whole story, but he wasn't telling the truth in terms of, I talked to so and so, and I talked to so and so. They know I'm calling. Give me one of them. She wasn't buying it, and he went ballistic. Proceeded to yell at the receptionist and call her, and I quote, stupid and worthless. Stupid and worthless. So my friend Eric uh, calls him back. And to hear Eric tell it, it was as if the man had a smile on his face, as if he accomplished his mission to have Eric call him back, as if the interaction that he just had with the receptionist was going to get him very far. But he was delighted. And, you could hear that smile on the other end. Mission accomplished. Eric proceeded to ask him if he was the individual that had just called, and told him in no uncertain terms not to call back. And then uh, Eric decided to vent that frustration, more or less as a warning and a learning lesson, I think, to others that would potentially call in and try the same tactic. Now, this said, again, Eric's a very understanding guy, and this job is very stressful at times. And sometimes, if anything to be learned from this, it's good to take a breath. It's good to take a beat. It's good to get, whatever you have to do, take a walk around the block. You know, I don't know, get some coffee. I mean, I don't know, maybe drink less coffee. I don't know, but do something that's going to allow you to get in the right headspace to make that next call. There's a lot of rejection. It's a lot of rejection. It's a lot of folks that may or may not answer the phone. There's a lot of voicemails to be left. I mean, sometimes it can get so frustrating that you feel like you're pounding your head against a wall. But it's important because we live in a day and age now where anything and everything can go online, and it can have a significant impact. Uh, Certainly you doing business, but then it can also be a warning for others, to not do business with them as well. So he goes on to LinkedIn and he vents the frustration with a very important message. He writes, it's important you train your personnel and staff that it is unwise, unprofessional, and generally not nice to tell our employees, uh, where he works, that they are, quote, stupid and worthless, end quote, because you are unable to get to me or my colleagues. He follows this up and ends this post with, please never call us again. It's my understanding that it has had tens of thousands of views. And if you go down the comments, it's really apparent that that this happens and or has happened, maybe not by this company, or by this person, but it's happened to other people in the past. it's it's like I said, not for the public embarrassment, not for the potential loss of employment, not for anything else, but maybe even your own reputation, to just take that beat, take that breath, try to center yourself, you know, because now I've never done that, but I can see how someone, particularly if they're new in the business, or if, they've just run into that wall. They've just kept on going, and they feel like they're just pounding their head against the wall, against the door, and it will not open. Sometimes you have days like that. I mean, maybe you have weeks like that. And it's not something that is so rare. I mean, I can look at these comments, and they are really talking about training. They need to train their staff to avoid disrespectful language. Um, let's see, when you need to keep in mind, when you speak to your clients, they're the one that gives you business. If you don't have clients, let's see, if you don't have clients, how your business will be run. And let's see, and we'll remember. Don't say anyway. He writes it kind of into the gist there is it'll be remembered, right? Um, I think sometimes though, in the midst of training, right? I've seen this a lot where there's training, maybe. I mean, these days, I don't know. Again, doing this show has been so enlightening, not only as it pertains to, uh, gosh, how a recruiter runs their desk, in this new AI driven era, right? Uh, where there's instances where there are ways to work smart, right? Absolutely. But if the basics aren't taught, it is ridiculous to think you can work smart if your foundation isn't solid. Period. If you go away from the basics, what are the basics, Brad? Hmm, I don't know. Let's see. You have to be reaching out to the companies so they know you're there. Sometimes you have to do creative things like, oh, I don't know, make videos, talk about the things that you specialize in. Who knows? Put together email chains, whatever it is, but it has to be. You cannot sell something you don't believe in. I don't care who you are. If you don't believe that you represent and or have the best service to fulfill, to be the remedy to that client's pain, okay? And it's always hiring, it's always recruiting, it's always we either have so much business we need all of these people, or we are in a situation where we can't keep people, or we're growing so fast we need yada 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 yada, yada, right? Yada 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 yada. I don't know, I'm getting new ways to say that. So there's ways to do it, sticking to the basics. We used to have to make 50 to 70 calls a day, right? 50 to 70 calls a day to companies, utilizing every single contact. We go to the mall, hand a card. You go golfing, you hand a card. You do anything, you hand a card. Going to the movies, oh, I guarantee you, there's business everywhere. Somebody asked me, well, Brad, how would you go about getting business? I'm like, business is everywhere, man. My gosh, you would be shocked, particularly if you're in the Houston area, shocked at the people that go to me and my wife Starbucks. Shocked. You'd also be shocked that I've gotten business from that Starbucks, from the people that go there. Shocked. Business is everywhere if you're looking for it, period. I don't care who you are. It's everywhere. Always be closing is a thing. And if you believe in what you're doing and you believe in your service, you believe in your product, and you believe, particularly if you're a recruiter or a recruiter, right? Sales recruiter, if you're in the recruiting industry and you believe that your service, you give me a job order, I guarantee you my team is so good, I'm going to fill that job. And they're going to be the best in the business, bar none. They will be the best in your region, best in your city, best in your state, best in the nation. I guarantee it. When you can confidently say that, you don't have to sell anything. All it is a conversation. Okay, basics, right? But what they don't teach, and oh my gosh, I've just been mesmerized by the out and out ridiculousness that, you know, all of the emphasis that companies place on getting the order, fulfilling the order, making money off of it. It's astonishing to me. Astonishing that the companies with junior recruiters, junior salespeople, junior account managers, I should say, account executives, you pick the title. They do not teach them about when it gets hard. It's almost like they don't want to admit that times would ever get hard. And if they are difficult, it's your fault, not the economy's fault, not anybody's fault, but it's your fault. So because it's your fault, by golly, you better hit that phone harder. They don't teach you about when it gets tough. And before you reach your breaking point, because everyone has one, everyone has a breaking point. And maybe they weren't taught how to self-govern in that way. There are so many people that have had, and I don't want to say, my man, we had it so tough, we were in the snow and we're making blah, blah, blah. And, it was so tough and we did it and we liked it. We liked it. I'm not saying all that. But what I am saying, and this is what I've tried to do with the teams that I've been involved with, particularly ones that I've managed or helped manage, is that when it gets difficult, what's your go-to? What's your strategy? If somebody says to me with a straight face, well, man, I just get up, man, I make the next call, send the next email. I send the next email. Man, I just keep searching, man. I just keep going. Don't bother me any. Nope, no, don't bother me none. That tells me, much like if someone's ever been in a street fight and they've never gotten their behind handed to them, that means that they probably have never been in one or they haven't been in enough. We all get our AWSs kicked now and then. All of us do. Happens. How do you deal with that? How do you deal with, let's say you're making 50 calls a day. Let's just say. And let's say that you talk to 50 people. And out of those 50 people, every single one of them is a no. Let me think about it. I got to ask my manager. That's a good one. I have to, let's see, well, we haven't gotten the rec approved. Gosh, man. I mean, oh, well, if you're not in recruiting, you're in other kind of sales. I have to talk to my wife or my husband. That's the kiss of death right there. You know what I mean? And it's so effective because how are you going to sell around that? Well, I don't know. Why don't you surprise them with this, with this gym membership? you know, it's a kiss of death sometimes, right? So out of those 50 people, 50 connects, 50, you're in recruiting now, 50 connects, and every one of them's a no. Every single one of them. How do you deal with that? If somebody tells me they just pick up the phone and keep going, they are liars. They are liars from the state of Wyoming. Okay. No, 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 no. That's not what you do. Because, like it or not, in sales, that's not, you can look at it and say, well, I connected, so I won there. It's not a loss, but you didn't get the order. So great job. What are you doing? Maybe you need to pivot. Maybe you need to check what you're saying. Maybe, maybe if you dot all those I's, cross all those T's, and it's still not working. Look, we have days like that. We have weeks like that sometimes. If you're not training your team how to manage failure, how to learn from failure. This guy that made that call into my friend's company, I'm giving him the benefit of the doubt. He's probably very new, and he had just had it. He didn't want to talk to one more gatekeeper. He couldn't stand talking to one more person that's not the person he needs to talk to, and he couldn't stand getting another no. Who knows, man? Maybe he needs that commission to pay his mortgage or to pay his car note or to something, or maybe to keep his job. I don't know. But if no one's training these people, particularly if we are in such a send an email, send a in mail, you know, don't worry about building the relationship. Kind of, we're in that. But if every single one of your responses is no, or it's worse, it's a ghost, no's at least thanks for telling me. But if you're not training your salespeople, if you're not training your recruiters, not just how to sell, not just how to pivot, not just how to, you know, sell around or whatever. If you're not telling them how to handle rejection and failure, you are the problem. That dude will never forget the mistake he made. Eric had people, and to their credit, they jumped on it right away. The managers in that company reached out to him. There were people that were making sure that he knew that they were making it right. He even commented and apologized publicly. So he'll never forget this. But let this, I would say, young man's mistake be a lesson to everybody out there. Have to check your attitude before you do anything. And managers, if you're not training your people on how to manage rejection, you're the problem. If you're not doing that and somebody messes up like that, and your first response is to fire them, you're the problem. Everybody wants to be the boss, but nobody wants to lead. Leaders have earned the right, they don't need to manage. Part of being a boss is having some sort of responsibility to the people that work under you. I don't blame that guy for doing that. Who I blame is his boss, his manager. What are they not instilling in him that made him do that? Or not made him do it. Rather, I'm sorry, wrong choice of words. Wrong choice of words. Forgive me for that. What are you not doing to ensure that when those bad days happen, he knows how to deal with it? That he knows how to deal with the rejection. You know what? It was funny. Years and years ago, when I was still doing the 50 call a day thing. Oh man, I was having a day like that. It was voicemail after voicemail. And then, I mean, here's the other thing too. When you're calling into companies and the manager doesn't want to hear from you, sometimes they're not the nicest people, right? They're just not. Sometimes they were so rude. And that's another thing. If you're not teaching your salespeople, your recruiters how to deal with those rude people that when you call, that's they shouldn't do that, but they do. How many times has somebody cold called you at home and you accidentally pick it up and you just don't want to talk to them? How many times? And maybe they picked you on that right day. Oh, it was the right day to call today. And you're mean to them. Well, think about that. That's not right either. You don't know what the person on the other end of that phone's going through. You have no idea. You could be the call that either breaks them or makes them, or at least makes their day. Right. I remember, like I was saying, oh, man, it was one of those days. And I called into this company. And I called in and he picked up the phone and I said, "Hey, how you doing? This is Brad Clark with such and such. How you doing today?" He said, "Oh, I'm fine. What do you want?" And I said, "You know what I want? I want one of these calls to end up being something. I don't care. A conversation. You know who I'm with, so I'm really looking to place this candidate that I just interviewed. The guy's amazing. IT director with such 25 years of experience. The guy is incredible, but whatever. I'm calling you obviously to see if you'd want to talk to the guy, but what do I want? I want somebody to just, I don't know. I just need somebody to be nice today. Something like that. The guy starts laughing hysterically. We ended up talking for about an hour, and I actually ended up getting a job order. It wasn't for the IT director, but I got it for I think it was for network engineers. Gosh, this was years and years ago. And I ended up getting a job order. Sometimes it's like that. That's how I deal with it. If somebody picks up the phone's rude to me and has the nerve to ask me what do I want, I'm going to tell you, he picked me on the right day. I just need somebody. I really need to place this guy, but I just need somebody to be nice today. Gosh, it's one of those days. He could have just as well hung up and said, "Keep shopping, buddy." Click. But he didn't. He thought it was so funny. And you know what? Honestly, I did too. It just came out. Look, we all deal with things differently. But luckily, I had mentors and I had people in my life that taught me how to deal with things in a way that, I mean, I'm not perfect, man. I have had those moments, not that moment, but I've had moments. I'll tell you that. And anybody that knows me will tell you. But I tell you, attitude is everything. But you got to be, I see so much where training just isn't a part of the deal anymore. I mean, it's unbelievable. It's a high-tech version of getting a phone book, placing it on the desk and saying, "Get a job order." When I see recruiters out there saying that it's their practice not to prep their candidates, actually justifying not doing their jobs, is it any wonder that we're in a lot of the state we're in this industry, in this business? It shouldn't be. Business, being in a service driven industry, particularly when you're dealing with people's lives. I've worked a full desk my pretty much my whole career. And so I had to be the salesperson and the recruiter a lot of times. And so I got a unique perspective on both sides of this business. A lot of times the team model is nothing new. I think it's more prevalent now, but I got a perspective unlike I think a lot of people do these days. They don't have the opportunity to work that full desk, so they don't understand uh, how someone could have an experience on both the sales and the recruiting side. And unfortunately, I mean, if you're good at one, go for it. If you're good at the other, go for it. But a lot of times, salespeople will not understand what a recruiter goes through, and a recruiter just thinks the salesperson goes out there and gets an order, passes it to them, give me the candidate you find, and sends it, puts their feet up on the desk, and I don't know, um, playing some video game all day. You know, both are inaccurate. Uh, or that version of that whatever that's inaccurate. What I'm saying is, let me rephrase that. Uh, both perceptions, if one hasn't walked in the other's shoes, are inaccurate. So I've had to, a lot of people, I'm dating myself a little bit here, but I think the gray hair pretty much gives it away. But I was the Jerry Maguire of this business. I worked both sides of the desk. When I represented a candidate, I really represented the candidate. When I represented the client, I really represented the client to the candidate. I was really making a match there. But working in the team models, I've done that too. And I think it's really imperative if you're in that model to where it's a team model, you know, salespeople on one side, recruiters on the other side. I think it's really an imperative that the training is there for both. Particularly if you're hiring new people, that the training looks at the challenges of recruiting and sales. What do they go through? So that they can better understand. Maybe if the recruiter understood how difficult the sales job is, I don't know, maybe super detailed about that candidate. They would point in different ways on how that salesperson is to sell that candidate. And if the salesperson knew the links that that recruiter had to go to extract that information, the conversations they had, getting to know that person as best they can. I mean, that's a skill. And if there's trust there, the salesperson and the recruiter should work hand in hand. And both of them should be able to talk to the client when if I have a client and I'm working with a recruiter, I have no problems having whatever recruiter I'm working with be on that call with me. I would rather them get the information from them than secondhand from me. Much rather have that. Now, for every call that a recruiter makes, sometimes it's welcome, sometimes it isn't. But salespeople making those calls day in and day out, getting rejected after rejection after rejection after rejection, getting those jobs, getting to the point where, gosh, man, we'll take anything. It's hard. It's a hard job. It is a hard job. I think it's really beneficial. One side knows the other side. But in whatever business you're in, if you're not teaching how to take break, how to really deal with that stress, give them some books to read, walk them through some things, you're going to have a big problem on your hands. And it doesn't do your subordinate any favors if you don't tell them right and you don't try to teach them. With that, we are going to take a break. Stay tuned. We will be right back with more. Can't get enough of Work Your Career Wednesday. We'll be right back.
Jane's Physical Therapy has immediate openings for full-time and part-time positions. For home healthcare physical therapists and physical therapy assistants, we are actively looking in the New Orleans and Lafayette areas. Call Bradley Clark at 713-364-8777. Join us at Jane's Physical Therapy, and let's help Louisiana get back to living life.
Hey everybody, welcome back to Work Your Career Wednesday. I'm Bradley Clark, and it's just me today. Sorry, we're going over some things that I think are pretty crucial in this day and age. But I hope you got the message. And I'm not trying to preach at anybody. It's just things that I've seen and things that I haven't been seeing in the industry today. It's I think it's crucial that when you're bringing in new folks, you're not only teaching about the business, you got to teach them how to deal with that rejection. If you're in a sales position, it's so important, so important. I think teaching that is almost as important as teaching the business. So anyway, I hope you got a lot out of that. We have a lot of new things going on. Oh my gosh. We have some guests that are coming on the show. I have some news. We're going to be doing some things with a new. Well, I'm going to save that for another time. But we're doing an inventor series. We did so great with Albert Hardin and his story getting out there, really sparking conversations. We're going to be talking with another inventor. He has invented a pillow that is going to, I would say, his pillow will be a disruptor in the sleep space. Disrupt. I don't know. I thought that was funny. I talked to him today. Let me tell you, this guy is amazing. You're going to love his story. A veteran. It's veteran owned, tested. He has a heart for folk. He told me something really interesting. He said that sleep deprivation, and we all suffer from it in one way, shape, or form, right? If we're not getting enough sleep, our body is deprived of sleep. So that is, maybe a loose version or a definition of sleep deprivation. But when we deprive our body of sleep, it's in sleep. Deep sleep is when the body heals itself, and it's we're not getting enough of it. We're not getting enough sleep. We were just talking about recruiting being a hard business. Let me tell you something. It is an up at dawn. You work until you stop work, until the day is over, whenever that happens to be. And that's not the only industry that's the way it is in. We, as a society, we're driven to do more. We expect more out of ourselves. We keep going. We're go 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 all the time. And in that, the old adage, I'll sleep when I'm dead. Well, you know what? You might get there sooner if you don't start getting more and better sleep. And so this guy we're going to have on, I'm interviewing him this weekend. His show will be on next week. That would be on my calendar in front of me. That would be, oh gosh, I can't believe April's going by so quickly. It would be the 24th. His show will air. So April 24th. Um, just incredible. And you're going to love what he has to say and his story. And I can almost guarantee you're going to love the pillow. It's amazing. It really is incredible. And I can't wait to have him on. We'll also be talking to him in May. We'll have more on that later. Um, just more, just, you know, this show is evolving, and I just wanted to take a minute to thank you. You know, we're one of we're really growing quickly. And I just can't thank enough the guests that we've had on, the guests that we're booking. And it really touches my heart that, you know, you guys are really getting something out of this. And so thanks. Thank you so much. Um, I didn't, I wanted this show to be successful, but um, I'm really thankful it is. So there's going to be a lot of upgrades. We're going to be upgrading um, on my end. We're going to be upgrading our, you know, our software and stuff like that. I don't have my favorite mic this week. This is a great mic. I will tell you what, and I'm not going to endorse them because you know, we don't have we don't have a check from them. But I'll tell you this, great mic. But my favorite mic, the one I've been using since this show began, I got to get it fixed. But I love that mic. But you know, new equipment, new software. We're just we're moving on up, and that is thanks in large part to you. And I'd also like to thank my incredible team um, at White Husky Films and over here in Houston. Um, I don't know if I thank them enough, but I tell you what, it's really incredible. So I'm just really excited for the future and what it holds, and I hope you guys just keep, you know, liking the shows. And if you have any suggestions for more shows and different topics, I would love to hear it. I'd love to hear it. But I just want to tell you thank you from the bottom of my heart. How much I appreciate um how much I appreciate you. So um gosh, we're getting this thing out so late. I am so sorry. Um, but I think we're gonna cut it off today. I think that's gonna be it. But oh, one more thing. Work your career extra. We are still doing that. Oh, my I didn't talk about it on the air, but my wife was in the hospital. She is out. She's doing great, but she was dealing with some stuff for 3 weeks, and it was well. I think we're going to do a show on that definitely. Um, but just wow, what an experience! And your prayers really got us through it. So thank you so much. I think I talked about it a little bit on social media, and where on Instagram you can find us at Worker Career Wednesday. But I talked a little bit about it on there, not too much, but enough. And I think, yeah, we're definitely gonna have to do a show about that. But so Work Your Career Extra is delayed, but it's coming. So stay tuned for that. But gosh, I think I'm gonna sign off with that, guys. Man, for everybody at White Husky Films, Jane's Physical Therapy, Klein's Jewelry. Don't forget, go to Klein's. You bought a house, you're thinking of buying a house, or you're in the doghouse, go to Klein's. For everybody. Oh, I got my shirt on, my Channel 37 shirt. They come out with they're coming out with a new album too, so check them out. Channel37.media. And oh my gosh, the gear that they have, incredible. I love their clothes. Music is great. Their new single is out now. Check it out. Absolutely fantastic. But yeah. So for all of us at White Husky Films, Jane's Physical Therapy, Klein's Jewelry, and everybody that's hitching their wagon to us and are about to hitch their wagon to us, know this, that we love you and God bless you. Let his face shine upon you and give you great peace. Be excellent to yourself and each other, and stay tuned. We have more great shows and a great show coming up for you next week. Thanks a lot, guys. See you next week.
White Husky Films. Dream, create, record. We create ads and promos for your business. We can promote your video on television, Facebook, YouTube, Hulu, and more. We do a full Google SEO analysis for you with any plan. Call us today at 305-744-1444 or visit our website at whitehuskyfilms.com. White Husky Films. You'll be glad you did.
Oh, hi. I didn't see you there. Hey, if you like Work Your Career Wednesday and want to be notified every single time we have a new episode, like, share, and subscribe. Hit that notification bell. Smash it. Get a hammer and get it. And
Yeah, that's fine.
Too much?
No, that's fine.
Are you sure?
Yeah, I love it. People want.
Do you hear Steven in the background? I was just making sure I'm going to be okay. But get that notification going. And hey, we will be letting you know, or I guess YouTube will be letting you know, when the next Work Your Career Wednesday is on. So make sure you like, share, subscribe, hit that notification bell. Man, ding it, ring it, sling it, and bang it. All right? And we will see you soon. Work Your Career Wednesday. Oh, great. I'm glad you stopped by. Be sure to get that subscription bell, and I'll see you there.